even knowing what's going on, right?
Exactly, and I think actually one of the most important points about social media is never delete the negative. Never ever delete the negative, and we never do, unless it's profanity or physical threats. But other than that, we always leave the negative comments up there because it's important that people see them and then see our position on them, and we don't ever want to silence those voices.
Yeah, to add to it, I have a brilliant example actually, and it's like Linda said, it's literally if you have the knowledge about a negative sentiment, turn it into something good. Full stop. A great example is by a mobile phone competitor starting with an H, ending with a C, who is actually had a brilliant Facebook site and opened it up on a marketplace in Singapore and received a lot of negative sentiment for whatever reason. And the response was literally, we shut down the page and we're no longer operating this page. That's very painful. And I guess it's literally what Linda says, is how do we listen? And if you go online on social media, week.org, have a look for the socializer. And I'm not referring to the socializer project right now in Hong Kong, but I'm referring to the socializer dashboard, which has been just introduced by Nokia in New York City. It's pretty much a 6-screen dashboard which pulls out all the conversation out of all your social networks and shows you the sentiment, whether it's negative, whether it's positive. You can drill down on the actual post. You can set it up for your market, obviously relevant information, whether it's products, whether it's services, and so on. And you also can act on these, and that's the very, very important thing. If there is a negative mood about your products or services, just think about how you can turn it into something good, not ignore it, and especially don't just shut down the page or delete the comments.
Well, I have a very good example in terms of actually turning something very negative into turning something actually positive for the community. Last year we had an incident which, I'm not sure how many people may have been affected here too, but we had the cow dragon incident. Basically we sold 260,000 vouchers over a 6-month period of time. It was $70 each, so it was a lot of money involved at that time. So they filed for bankruptcy. A big portion of those people that actually bought those vouchers didn't end up using those vouchers, correct? And then so basically we as the company that sold the vouchers, we had to take responsibility for it. So once I found out I was still in the office, it was like 10 p.m. Reporters called me. Basically, they said, what are you going to do about this bankruptcy filing issue, right? I didn't know about it at that time. Basically, once I called my PR firm, basically they confirmed that it was true. So I had a big issue on hand, correct? It was basically, it was going to be either, okay, what do I do? So within 30 minutes, I was like, okay, there's going to be a lot of people affected. So I posted out a message to Facebook saying, hey, there's going to be a story I just learned. I posted that as myself. This is one I think personal to the company. So people actually have a relationship, not just for Scriptcom, but that there's someone caring out there that takes care of their interests. So I posted a message saying that basically for everyone that hasn't used their voucher, we'll fully refund them. So this was a decision I had to make on behalf of the company. But I think a lot of people took that as a positive in terms of basically a very potential negative situation. Because once you build that trust, and it's very easy to lose that trust. So in terms of money or whatever it takes, you will want to remain and keep that trust. So I think afterwards, I personally received a lot of emails or sentiment out there that saying, hey, that was a potential very negative situation, which we turned into positive because we proactively we reached out basically before the newspapers. I think there's a lot of companies that once something bad happens, they take too long to react. Once you take too long to react, that's when all the, everything starts to pile up. So if you react quickly, that's kind of one of the key things that you have to do. If you build a social site, react quickly, your fans, your customers will appreciate and love you for it.
It's quite similar to what the others have talked about. I just want to sort of highlight. So we can categorize these issues in 2 areas. One is typically complaints or organizations like Greenpeace and I doorstep. And these things happen all the time. I think making sure, I think what Dennis is responding quickly to that. So I think that is one of the things that if you don't respond quickly or have no reply, it just snowballs. And I've seen this in multiple other industries I've been in the past. And something that damages your credibility in the market. So the second area is really the use of content, and we have issues where we have a lot of people in our company blogging or posting onto these meetings. It's not just me, obviously there's a team of people around the world, and it's something that happens in one part of the world and impact us. So a lot of the content, whether it be photos, music, footage on TV, we post that on our Facebook post or Twitter, and sometimes we don't actually have the rights for that. And then next thing I get is a call, pay up. We may have accidentally put a song from, which we sponsored that only in one country. So those are things that you need to look out for, or check with legal or small business. And what are the rights that you have, and what rights do you allow other people to use? Because you could be also a victim because you have the rights, but you don't have the right to allow your followers to repost it, which also becomes a problem if you're the source.
I just wanted to add two things that are really important about negative. One is, from a social media perspective, when you have a negative conversation going on online, get it offline as quickly as possible. Post your response up there, but then move the conversation offline and engage with that person as quickly as possible. That's something extremely important. You don't want to get into a debate online. That's never going to work out well. The other thing is, never underestimate that your enemies can become your friends. And I don't really mean the word enemies, but you would be surprised at how many people originally complain actually wind up being your advocate. When it comes to issues around shark fin, when it came to issues around bear bile, in all of those, even when it came to issues around counterfeit movies, or counterfeit DVDs on our site, in all three of those situations and in a lot more, we actually engaged the people who had originally submitted the complaint in helping us fix the problem, and then they became advocates for us. So keep in mind that in all of those situations, it's very important to continue the engagement offline, because you never know when those people might actually be able to help you solve the very problem that they were complaining about in the first place.
We have 29 minutes left, and just for the panelists to put your minds in the right place, we're going to do three things in this half hour. First of all, there was a question from Twitter about how you take people online, or principally readers or consumers of content, and how do you activate them and have them do something. Adrian, you talk about engagement, or move from being readers to purchasers. I also want each of you to be thinking about your top tip that you would want to share with the audience in terms of online commerce success. And then finally, let's take a little look into the future. Victor gave us a very useful slide with lots of question marks and graphs going up. Just from your perspective, where do you guys see this going? So I'll lay those out there so that when you're not speaking, you can become fiendishly clever answers. So let's go to this question of activation. Some statistics out there show that as many as 40% of people on Twitter are really just reading, right? They're interested, but they're at this stage not going to do anything except absorb the content as it goes by and not be active. What are some of the ways that you could kind of step over that line and start activating these audiences? Alex, you have a view?
Yeah, I guess those are literally 3-4 streams. It's first listen, engage, and then commercialize. Sounds very easy. The next step would be, how do I turn those people into advocates? So it is pretty much that is what it says. So first you have to understand your target group, and you have to listen to your consumers or potential consumers, that you know what they are really into, what they want. And I don't think that everyone right now is already at the state of mind that they want to purchase stuff in social media or in social networks. So I think dumping an online store in Facebook is actually not the right move. So it's rather, how do I educate these people, how do I engage them, keep them motivated, and it's pretty much the old principle is AIDA, and you can also apply it to social and to digital as well. Keep the users engaged, start conversations, be very active with these people, and then I guess the next step, if you're thinking about commercialize, is how do I offer something which is unique to the environment the user is in, and how can I drive this person to a purchase decision. And I guess Most probably I hand over right now to Groupon, and sorry that I jumped you, kick you into these things, but you are doing an amazing job in how we actually drive the point of sale and the activation in the end.
I think for us, I mean, it's very clear that one of our biggest goals this year is actually driving activations. We have tons of people that subscribe to our email list and tons of people on our Facebook page and Twitter, but there's only a small percentage that actually have bought before. I'm sure a lot of people subscribe to it. I think right now this year is really about education of our fans and basically letting them know that basically we are a safe platform to purchase from. There's still a misconception in Hong Kong, since we are in Hong Kong, that shopping online is not safe. I think Hong Kong has one of the lowest shopping rates in all of Asia Pacific. Last year was about 50%. Within this past year, it grew about 35% from what I understand. So there's a lot of people that are starting to begin buying online. It's actually safe. So this year is really about education process. Also letting them know that purchasing something on Groupon is safe, and if for something that bad happens like with Dragon, that we will refund them. So it's also really establishing the credibility and trust factor, and that's one of the ways that I think we will be able to activate a lot of these users, which a lot of times they may see something they like, but for one reason or another they don't purchase. So our goal is basically ask them, make them feel secure about purchasing, and we can establish the trust and educate them, basically in the forums and Facebook, Twitter, and let them know that if something happens, we will stand behind our product 100% of the time.